a Heisman preseason candidate right now.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders, and we talked about that last week about him potentially breaking more records coming this year. And one guy that's going to be key to that is Travis Hunter. We saw him weigh in this week at 183 pounds. I think he said his goal is 190. That's going to put him right there at that. I think that perfect range for NFL style, body style, cornerback slash wide receiver. What's your predictions? Touchdowns, interceptions for Travis Hunter this year. Let's go to Travis.
Let me rewind and go back on something about that offensive line when you talked about Shador and potential Heisman. These
Okay.
guys have to, and they already individually and collectively understand. The more we protect him, the further he goes. The more we are responsible for that protection, the further we go. Whatever happens with Shador Sanders this year is going to happen for the offensive line. If he
Right.
goes from being the most sacked quarterback in the nation to the least sacked, you're going to have guys off that line get drafted. They understand that.
100%.
If he's sitting there on the front row of the downtown athletic club in New York, even in the consideration for the Heisman, they're going to the NFL as well. So they understand that. Now, to your point about Travis, I absolutely think he's in better shape than he was this time last year, even during the season. I think, of course, the injury that happened from the illegal hit is just gone and completely healed. So he's at 100% in all regards. I think he does have the body type that he puts on these other 7 pounds. It's not going to slow him down. It's just going to help protect him more, from getting tackled when he's playing receiver or doing the tackling when he's playing DB. And it's not going to slow him
Right.
down any. He's going to be just as fast, weighs 7 pounds more if he were to drop 7. As far as what I think his numbers will be, I think he's going to be much like Shador. I think he's going to exceed. Well, let me change that. He's going to definitely exceed things because he had to miss some of those key games last year, and he'll be playing in more games. But if you take out the data of games missed and just look at games played, he's going to be playing both sides of the ball again. He even works out his special teams sometimes in punt return. So you're going to see some various action with him, and I think his body is going to be built for it. His stamina is off the charts. I think his muscle gain is going to help him, even more in injury prevention. So I think he's going to have a stellar year, and I also think he's going to be right there in New York City with Shador sitting on that front row, contending for the Heisman.
Hey, before I go to the next question, what you just said right there, um, when we posted the video from that last this past week of you saying that those two guys going to be in there, I got a lot of comments on my page saying, "Man, do you really think two players are going to be at the Heisman? In the Heisman finalists, this year? Do you really think that can happen?" I'm like, yes.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah, and that's my point. Why not? Particularly when one position is not necessarily totally responsible for the other.
Right.
Travis would be going for the Heisman just as much in a Charles Woodson role as he would in a Marvin Harrison Jr. role.
There
And
you go.
Shador will be going for his accuracy, touchdowns, yardage, and completion percentage, etc. And so you literally could have both of them there. You could arguably in the past you could have had a quarterback and a running back from the same team there. They were that dynamic, and I think at this point in history, with Shador's skill set and what he brings to the table, with Travis what he brings to the table, particularly his diversity and the amount of plays he's going to play both sides of the ball. The last time I checked, Chico, I don't know now, I could be wrong because they do mess it up from time to time.
Yeah.
But the Heisman Trophy is supposed to be given to the best player in college football.
Right.
You can't sit here in June and tell me that we can't get to December and that Travis Hunter, as well as Shador Sanders, for argument purposes, can't be neck and neck as the best person in college football.
Right.
I think it happened.
Definitely. I think it's going to happen. I think it's wide open for it to happen. It's only thing that can hurt them is if I think someone else has just as good as year and they win more games or something.
Oh, look,
You
look,
know?
look, look. Let's to the people who were in the comments last week when we touched on this. The asterisk is winning.
Yes.
Let's just get that out the way. The asterisk is winning. I don't care how many yards you're throwing for. I don't care how many interceptions you got. If your team ain't winning, you move out of discussion for Heisman. And you saw that last year. For people who don't think it's possible, the first 3 weeks of last year, Shador and Travis were in the top 5 being mentioned for Heisman.
100%. Yep.
We start losing games, their names go out of the mention. So all of this is tied to winning. They understand that. That's why the goal is first and foremost is not Heisman's, it's not breaking records. The goal is to win.
Is to win because everything else will come with that.
Yep.
So that goes back to that point that you made about the offensive line. If they can protect Shador, if he's successful, you can count on yourself to be successful because they're going to come looking for you. You know, you guys protected him after him being sacked last year. So I like that, and I'm looking forward to this season. I think it's going to be a big time season, starting off with that North Dakota State game. Tough opponent,
Very tough opponent. This is one of those games where people say, "Oh man, you're playing down." They're beneath you, but you got to keep this in mind. They're at the top of the down.
Right.
If we're coming off 1-11, then coming off 4-8, we're at the bottom of the top. It is what it is. We can't talk about potential. We got to talk about actual. Those guys, year after year, are winning the national championship or playing in the game for their division. And if you look at the past 2 years, we haven't been 500 ball. So this is on paper a tough matchup. One Colorado's supposed to win, one Colorado should win, and one that Colorado, in fairness, particularly to the media out there who look for anything, we got to win in a dominant fashion. There's way more pressure on Colorado for this game than there is North Dakota State. So people, if you want to look past week 1 because they're playing down, that ain't playing down. That's a tough opponent.
Only thing is a lot of people, because of, I'm going to say, let me stop saying a lot of people. I'll just say this. We started 3-0 last year. So if we can get to that 3-0 mark this year, it's still going to be naysayers say, okay, they did it last year. Here come the downfall. So,
but I would tell
you,
I would tell you, Chico, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. When we talked earlier about what matters gets measured, as long as there's scoreboards in this stadium, winning and losing matters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so if winning and losing matters, your record matters. Now, the only person that gets to talk some crap, that's Michigan. They won. And when we kick off week 0, they can't even talk crap anymore because now everybody's the same again. And so if you look at what happened with Colorado football last year, hot out the gate, going to TCU was favored by 21, and you win that game. You rattle off the next wins, one of them against Nebraska, in-state rival Colorado State in overtime. You start off 3-0. Of course, everybody's going to say, well, I remember last year 3-0. And then Baylor comes to town week 4 for that first Big 12 matchup. And so there's going to be interesting parallel conversations comparing this team to last year's. But I will tell you this, before you get to the win-loss category, what you're going to see is a team better prepared, a team that looks the part, a team that has depth, and not just depth, but talented depth. So I think we're going to perform much better in 2024 than we did in 2023.